behind us, just so you know. But I actually don't have any way, it's not like the 7-second delay where, you know, if you start cursing, I can't like bleep you out or anything. All right, and you didn't, sorry, you didn't have a chance to turn the mic on, did you?
It's on, but I can raise it up as you say and do things.
All right. Well, we'll start this also.
dear friends.
Good morning.
And what a wonderful world it is. As we transition from summer to fall, I invite us to simply be still and breathe, knowing that we are filled and fulfilled with the loving, supportive presence of pure spirit. And this is that presence that we honor and celebrate in all our days and all our ways as Father, Mother, everything, God. And for all our blessings in this world, dear friends, we give thanks in the name and through the nature of the living Christ. Amen and amen. Well, good morning once again, dear friends, and I welcome us to Unity of Columbus, those who are joining us via Facebook, YouTube, knowing that the miles do not separate us. We are so honored and grateful that you are here. Today we welcome a special guest speaker, Dr. Michelle Harkey, and she'll be sharing with us some thoughts on coming home to your true self. And she'll be sharing with us 4 questions. 4 questions. Those of you who are familiar with the work of Byron Katie certainly know about the 4 questions that help to kind of center us, ground us, and see us as the powerful spiritual beings that we truly are, taking responsibility for transforming our lives, and that is what we are all about here at Unity. And Michelle received a veterinary degree from Ohio State, and she practiced small animal and emergency medicine, worked for a pet nutrition company, and most recently taught professional development education at Ohio State University's College of Veterinary Medicine. And in 2017, she formed Lead Your Ship, a consulting company that specializes in teaching leadership, communication, emotional intelligence, and the work of Byron Katie. And she resides here in Central Ohio in Grove City with her yellow lab, Colby. And so I invite us to simply bless and acknowledge her for being present today. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And with that, I invite us to affirm our statement of faith, which is the foundational principle of Unity and of Unity of Columbus. I'll speak it once and invite you, whether you're here in the room or joining us from abroad, to repeat after me. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, all love. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, all love. And I invite us to take that statement within. Let the truth of those words resonate in your consciousness as you affirm them silently. And from a consciousness of faith, we affirm together again aloud our statement of faith. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, all love. And so it is. And we at Unity of Columbus have a vision as a spiritual community that I invite us to share. Those of you who are in the room, we've got the lovely PowerPoint. Those of you who are at home or abroad, simply absorb the words and let them resonate with you. Together, united in spirit, we are a loving community co-creating a world of peace, abundance, and joy for all. And our mission, with God as our source, Unity of Columbus inspires people to realize and express their divine nature in an awakening world. And the world truly is awakening as we speak. The world needs unity now more than ever. And each of you, for being a part of this service, are helping to uplift global consciousness at just the right time, in accordance with divine timing. And our core values, we answer the call of spirit. We are creative, authentic, learning, and loving. And so unity is your invitation to answer to your inner spirit's calling, as Jesus did. And so we bless each one of you for being a part of this service, and we light our Christ candle as a symbol and reminder of the truth, the light of the world that we truly are. Today is the 20th day of September, and our daily word for today is smile. That's a good one, especially now. I share the joy and love of God when I smile. Even if a language barrier prevents me from understanding another's words, I know that most people will respond to a friendly smile. My smile can convey goodwill, communicate delight from an unexpected blessing, or inspire awe at the sight of a star-filled night sky. A child, not yet able to walk or talk, shares love and joy quite effectively with a sunny smile. That's the truth. I feel happy when others smile at me. This friendly, welcoming gesture reminds me that we are all one in spirit. Smiling at my reflection in a mirror, I see the light that shines from me. I feel a quickened awareness of the divine love and joy that are present everywhere as I realize how simply and beautifully my smile can express that love and joy without any need for words. And the scripture comes from the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 25. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The affirmation once more, I share the joy and love of God when I smile. Let's affirm that together. I share the joy and love of God when I smile. As it is, so we let it be. And so for our meditation today, we'll have Lisa join us. First, we've got some music with our music director, Jim Maneri.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As we prepare for our meditation, if it is comfortable for you to do so, I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. And very gently direct your attention inward, going within. Breathing in and breathing out. From this place of present moment awareness, realize that what has come before you is in the past. What is yet to come is in the future. You are present right here, right now. The present moment is all you have. It is a gift called the precious present. As you tune into the spiritual world within, divine love, understanding, and wisdom are accessible. The insight and wisdom you need to make peace with yourself, peace with your past and future, and the world is here. The light of divine love and understanding shines in you now. To create peace in every relationship, realize that peace starts from the inside out. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with my thinking. Peace begins by loving yourself first, and then loving others. When we give our light and love to one person, and they shine it to another and another, we create peace eternally, one person at a time, starting with me. Divine relationships begin with me. I challenge any belief or thought that keeps me from loving myself or another. Be here now. Come home to your true self, your true nature, which is divine love. As we go into the silence, silently repeat the centering thought. Let peace begin with me. Let peace begin with me. Let peace begin with me. Continue to sit restfully, inhaling and exhaling slowly. Know that all the wisdom you need is inside you. You are the teacher you've been waiting for. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. And as you continue your day and week, contemplate the centering thought. Let peace begin with me. Let peace begin with my thinking. And so it is. Well, good morning, Unity of Columbus, and welcome to those of you in the sanctuary, and welcome to those of you on Facebook Live as well as YouTube Live. The title of today's talk is Come Home to Your True Self. How asking 4 questions can free your mind, open your heart, and return you to love. Well, my story to the work began in a small town in Portsmouth, Ohio. I was walking through a bookstore and happened to come upon a book by the name of Eureroniasomes by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And it's my understanding that Dr. Wayne Dyer has blessed this church several times speaking here. I followed Wayne Dyer my entire lifetime, from high school, reading every book, attending lectures that he gave. And in 2007, I came upon a lecture that Wayne Dyer performed with Byron Katie, doing the work. The title was Making Your Thoughts Work for You. And as I listened to both of them, I thought they're saying the same thing, just coming at it from a different perspective with a different process. And I was interested in the work. I heard Katie speak live for the first time in Phoenix, Arizona in 2010. And as I listened to that workshop, I knew there was something there for me to learn. The next summer, I attended a full weekend workshop with Byron Katie, and I'll refer to her as Katie, at Omega in New York. And at the conclusion of the workshop, I went up to her and said, I'm not sure, I just know I want to, what it is, I just know I want to do more work with you, which eventually led to my certification process as a certified facilitator of the work. So what is the work? The work is also called inquiry-based stress reduction. Many of you may be familiar with what's called MBSR, or mindfulness-based stress reduction, and the work of Jon Kabat-Zinn taught in hospitals around the world. So inquiry-based stress reduction, that's how it's referred to in the medical literature. In fact, there are 25 studies that support the work's use in depression, anxiety, and general overall well-being. The work also fits nicely into the biology of the mind. Cognitive neuroscience has identified a part of our brain on the left side that's called the interpreter. Some call it the ego. It's that familiar narrative that we hear, the voice inside our head, that tells stories, that shares our beliefs or tells us what we believe. And oftentimes that part of the interpreter is not correct. And when we do the work, we're given the tools to access another part of our brain that allows us to challenge the thoughts and the beliefs that causes stress. And the more we do the work, what remains is love for ourselves, and love for others. And this idea of being in the present moment and challenging what we think is not new. In fact, Lao Tzu said, if you're depressed, you are living in the past. If you're anxious, you are living in the future. If you're at peace, you're living in the present. And the Buddha also said, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Let the mind remain in the present moment. Epictetus, a Greek philosopher, said, we are disturbed not by what happens to us, we are disturbed by our thoughts about what happens. And as I look back to my life, I have been disturbed by thoughts of things that happened when I was a child, in high school, in college, and even in my life today. That's what I take to the work. And then Wayne Dyer said that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And thanks to Jim Maneri for the beautiful song, written by Karen Drucker, inspired by the words of Wayne Dyer. For many years, great spiritual masters and texts describe what it means to be free or enlightened. The work is one path, and it shows you how to identify any stressful thought or belief or situation that would keep you from that freedom, that feeling of enlightenment. And anyone can do the work. All you need is an open mind and an open heart. I had the opportunity several years ago to attend a meditation retreat with Jon Kabat-Zinn. And he said that there's a very powerful form of meditation where you question everything, referring to the work of Byron Katie. He also said something that stuck with me, the metaphor, one room, many doors. And what that means to me is the one room, the true self, the divine nature, the divine love within each and every one of us can be accessed through many doors. For some, it's yoga. For some, it's Tai Chi. For some, it's walking in nature. And for me, the path is the work of Byron Katie. That's one of the spiritual tools that I use to come home, in addition to coming to Unity Church and my faith. Katie would say that there's no new stressful thoughts. I used to think I was the only one that thought the way that I did. Thoughts like, she's rude to me, my mother doesn't love me, they disrespected me, the line doesn't move too fast, the line moves too slow. Am I the only one in here that's had those thoughts before? Yeah, so no new stressful thoughts. And I have had the opportunity to work on the helpline, which is a service offered free around the world to people doing the work. And I can say that I facilitated people around the world with the same thoughts that I've had. Now, one belief used to run my life, and that was the line's too slow. Has anybody here ever not had that thought at some point in their lifetime? That used to run my life. One evening, coming home from working out, a long week at work, swimming, coming home, I stopped by the grocery store. Now, I violated my own rule because I have the rule, don't shop when you're halt. So for those of you in the 12 steps and the 12 traditions, you know the halt. Don't make big decisions or go grocery shopping when you're hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And I added S to that, stressed. So I was the majority of those, not all of those. I go into the store, I'm ready to check out, and the line is long. And the line is moving too fast. And I used to, this is my religion, is the line is moving too slow. As I got to the cashier, I asked if I could speak to the manager. And I was, of course, spiritually nice. In my mind, I don't think I was very kind. And at the time, I didn't really notice much at all. As I continued to do the work later, like 5 years later, that situation came up, and I could see how unkind I was to the cashier and to the store manager. And sometimes we're given the opportunity to make amends, again, part of the 12 steps. Last year, before the pandemic hit, I was grocery shopping, and there he was, the manager. He was stocking the shelves. I went up to the manager and said, "Excuse me, are you the store manager?" And he said, "I was 5 years ago, so I knew this was the person I needed to apologize to." And I said, "Sir, do I look familiar to you?" Thinking he would remember. And he said, "No, I'm sorry, I don't remember you." So I was left with a choice. I could turn around and walk away, or I could come and say what I intended to say, the opportunity that God gave me to apologize to this man in the present moment. And I said, I explained the situation, I told him what I did, and I apologized. That was what I needed to do in the present moment. And you may not have an opportunity, sometimes I don't have the opportunity to make amends with the people I may have in my past harmed. And so I live that. I'm kind. Every time I come to a line that's slow, I ask the 4 questions and I smile. And I take a different course. I notice in the grocery store, there's plenty of magazines to read as I wait in the line. And there's plenty of things to pull out my phone. I'm a kinder human being because of just doing that one worksheet. And I notice if I'm unkind to somebody else, that hurts me. Come home to the self, to true love. Well, let me explain the process of the work. I know some of you are familiar with the work, and some, it may be brand new. There's 2 signature worksheets in the work, and everything you need to do the work is available free on thework.com. One is called a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, where we take a stressful situation or a situation that may have triggered us in the past, and we write our thoughts on paper. We let the ego have its life. And on your way out, we have examples of the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet that you're welcome to take with you. And again, for those of you online, everything is available free on thework.com. There's also another sheet that we'll talk more about this morning. That's called the One Belief at a Time worksheet, of which the 4 questions and the turnarounds are listed there. One of the key things to remember is that the work is meditation. It's about meditating on a moment in time and looking for the truth in the situation. The work is 4 questions. They are: question 1, is it true? Question 2, can I absolutely know that it's true? Question 3, how do I react? What happens when I believe the thought? And question 4, who would you be without the thought? When we move to the turnarounds take the original belief and then we look at its opposites to see if perhaps that may be true or truer than the original statement. So for example, in my first worksheet at Omega with Katie, I completed it on a coworker. And the belief, the concept, I'm angry with my coworker because she gossiped about me. So my concept that I'm going to demonstrate how to take it through the work is she gossiped about me. So the first question, is it true? And the answer is either yes or no. And I will talk out loud my process so you can see how I was thinking. Is it true? So as I meditate on that moment in time, I see all the evidence where she was talking to other people and I knew she was gossiping about me. I could see all the people coming to me and telling me that she said things about me. I'm at a yes, so my out loud answer would be yes. In question 2, can you absolutely know that it's true? Again, the work is meditation. It's not about how fast you can go through these questions. The work is meditation. Can I absolutely know that it's true? So I drop down and I go back to the situation and I ask myself, is it true? Can I absolutely know that it's true? And I start to see images of, well, I didn't actually see her do this. And if somebody told me that she did, that was gossiping about her. So my answer is no. The third question, how do you react? What happens when you believe the thought? And there are sub-questions here to allow us to go deeper. What emotions arise as I believe the thought she gossiped about me? The emotions arise: anger, fear, disappointment, frustration. What body sensations arise when I believe that thought? The fight or flight. My hands are tense and clenched. I feel the energy swirling in my stomach. That's a familiar feel. My teeth are clenched. My teeth are kind of, just my face is all tense. And what images of the past, another sub-question, what images of the past and future arise when you believe this thought? As I look to the past, I see all the times that I believed she gossiped about me. I see people that she was talking to that now believe like she did. And then I go to the future. It's hopeless. It's never going to change, and it's only going to get worse. She's going to continue to go around and talk to people. Another sub-question, how do I treat her? How do I treat myself? I treat her, I avoid her. I talk to my people to let them know exactly what she did to me. I get my people together against her. I treat her as a bully. And how do I treat myself? I'm the victim here. So in question 4, we're not asking you to drop the thought, just who would you be in that moment without the thought, she gossiped about me? Just who would you be in that moment? And even as I consider that question, I notice that my jaw's not clenched anymore, my fists are relaxed. The energy that was swirling around in my stomach's kind of dissipating and calm, I'm peaceful. So in 3, I look at what happens physically, emotionally, and in my mind when I believe this thought, the cascade of past and future stories coming to my mind. And when I drop and come back, without the belief, it's peace. So in the turnarounds, we look at the opposite, the other, and the self. So the opposite of the turnaround here, she gossiped about me, is she didn't gossip about me, or she said kind things about me. And so it's like The turnarounds are like going to a shoe store and trying on shoes. You don't walk out with a pair that doesn't fit. So here, we try this on. She didn't gossip about me. And I look for evidence. I wait for the evidence to be shown, the images to be shown of she didn't gossip about me. And I see that she actually was saying some good things about me at a meeting. Or I don't really know. She didn't gossip about me. I have no evidence, no hard evidence that she did. Then the turnaround to the others where we flip the pronouns. I gossiped about her, and boy, that hit me in the heart. That was a hard one, because up until that time, I never looked at my part in this. I gossiped about her, and I realized that I was doing the same thing to her that I was accusing her of doing to me. Well, that gave me an amends, and I went back to work and apologized that I was gossiping about her. I justified it because I said she was gossiping about me. I apologized, and I said that I wouldn't do it anymore. Now that may seem like just one worksheet, not a huge deal, but that worksheet, when I did that and had that realization, I knew that the work was something that I wanted to continue to do to become certified in. So how did that worksheet change my life? I speak about gossip today in workplaces because it's one of the most destructive conflict behaviors that we can have. How come? Because if I say bad things about one person that I believe to you and you take that on in your belief system, it's like a virus of the mind. It continues on and continues on, and it's not fair to that person. Again, one worksheet changed my life, and that's how it is. We do a worksheet, and it shifts our consciousness. It can potentially shift our relationships with all people, including ourselves. As we said in this morning's meditation, all the wisdom you need is inside you. You're the teacher you've been waiting for. And that's great news, because instead of looking for others to change in our life, we have to look to ourselves. And, you know, my history was, historically, if you change, then I'll be happy. No, you change and I'll be happy. If my mother would do this, then I would be happy. Or if somebody would do this, my coworker, and it never worked. So now I look to myself to make me happy. Several weeks ago, you had a speaker who talked about the Serenity Prayer, one of my favorites. And my mentor, Kay Shepard, gave me this prayer called the Wisdom Prayer. And it fits nicely with the work. God, grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the people that I can, and the wisdom to know that person is me. Powerful words. I don't look to others, I look to myself, to my thinking. Katie often talks about the 3 kinds of business, which I also find helpful in today's world. There's my business, which is everything I think, say, do, and feel. There's your business, which is everything you think, say, do, and feel. And then there's God's business, reality, which is things like the traffic going too slow, the hurricanes, disasters. And what I notice is there's a lot of God's business that I have historically been in the past. An example today of politics. So whose business is it who I vote for? My business. And whose business is it who you vote for? Your business. And I've noticed sometimes in the past I've tried to change other people to think like me, to be like me, and it's never worked. Come home to the self, to my business, which is all I can control anyway. And it's not to say that I don't feel comfortable saying no to people or yes to people. I'm clear in my communication. And if I choose to support a candidate or to work at the polls or to do canvassing, I may do that. I do it out of love, not to change other people. I do it out of love and a commitment. Everything you need to do the work is available on thework.com, the handouts. Katie has videos of talking people through a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. With the pandemic, Katie is not doing in-person events, so if you want to get a taste of the spiritual master, I would encourage you to watch Katie at noon, from noon to 1, Monday through Thursday. She does a 1-hour talk facilitating somebody on the work. And then on Thursday, she does a 2-hour workshop that is a deep dive into the work. For those of you who are interested in taking a deeper dive in the work, the text is called Loving What Is. It's a book, Loving What Is. I would encourage you to purchase that and read that. And I will say that the work is an ongoing practice. So if you did a worksheet on your mother 5 years ago and that relationship is still not what you would like it to be, this isn't a one worksheet and done. Much like any of our spiritual practices, we come to church every week as part of our spiritual practice. We may do meditation every day, and the work is no different. It's not one worksheet and done. And let's say that, well, it's like my life is good, I'm not upset, I have nothing to work on. And I would suggest just wait. Life will show you what you need to work on next. That person will show up in your life. And there's certainly plenty of opportunities for worksheets after you spend some time on Facebook or watch the evening news. Any stressful concept or thought you have can be taken to the work, anything. You do the work for your own freedom. And eventually you do the work long enough that the work starts to live inside you. And you may not even, something will happen that used to trigger you, and you just may notice that it doesn't trigger you anymore. For example, you may do a worksheet on your mother and just notice that your relationships with other people shift as well. We do the work on concepts when we do the work. We think it's people, it's concepts. She should apologize to me. I can put that on a lot of different people. So as we do the work on one, it really shifts all relationships. For me, doing the work makes me a kinder, more loving human being. This month's theme, My Search for Home, is already mapped. The way is written on my heart. And for me, the work was one way to discover my divine purpose and my divine path. The scripture reading today comes from Psalm 119, 105. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. I love the song in the 1980s by Amy Grant. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Her words go on to say, when I feel afraid and I think I've lost my way. I've been there. When I feel afraid, anxious, stressed, depressed, and lost my way, there you are right beside me. Within me, my connection to my divine source, and anything that keeps me from that belongs on a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet or one belief at a time. My divine purpose, to give and receive love, and any thought that keeps me from that belongs on paper to be questioned. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with my thinking. Challenging one belief at a time to bring me home to my true nature, which is love. And so it is.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Michelle. That was a wonderful, wonderful message. And as she mentioned, we have some copies of that Judge Your Neighbor worksheet and other materials for the work in the back of the room. And so now is the time in our service where we give the gift of our treasure. And we know that always, throughout all of life's challenges and complexities, that we are always supported by and through Spirit. Spirit, God, divine mind is an ever-present help in our lives. And so when we give a love offering or a tithe, it is our way of putting Spirit first, giving back to the place which spiritually feeds and nourishes us, so that others may be blessed as well. And so we thank all of you for your gifts and your support throughout certainly this pandemic season. And I invite us now, as we take our love offerings in our hands. And those of you who are at home, I invite you to join with us as well as we bless our offerings with this blessing. I'll speak it once and invite us to repeat it. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. And those of you who are here in the room with us, we have a little basket if you have a physical love offering. Those of you at home or abroad, wherever you may be, feel free to go to our website, which is unityofcolumbus.org, and then click the donate button on the home page. Thank you so much. And with that, we give thanks to all of you who are present with us today, both in the room and across the world through Facebook and YouTube. And you can catch all of our archival services throughout the pandemic on YouTube. It's Unity of Columbus Talks. Those of you who are on YouTube, you're already there. And I want to give a very special thanks once again to Michelle Harkey for her wonderful message today. And once again, I want to give a very generous thanks to Mr. Jim Mineri for setting up our studio, for being our music director. And so it is my great joy once again to bless and thank all of you, our Board of Trustees. I have just one announcement, and it's an important one. As of this past week, our board is in an active dialogue with our parent organization, Unity Worldwide Ministries, on bringing on the next spiritual leader for Unity of Columbus. And so it will soon be an active minister search. And so I want to bless and give thanks to our board for helping to create and sign all the documents that needed to be created to get that process started. And we have a search committee consisting of myself as board liaison and 3 dedicated church members. They are Sydney Shear, Chris Putnam, and Veronica Carter. So I want to give a generous, warm hand to all of them, and certainly to our board members as well. It is a sacred work that we will be embarking upon, and so we just kind of hold our ministry in prayer as we attract that next right and perfect spiritual leader to us. And so, with that, I invite us to stand. And we're going to close our service with our prayer for protection and our peace song. And as you can see, our service has been a little different. We're kind of partial TV studio, partial sanctuary. We won't be joining hands. We won't be group singing, but we'll just I'll sing the words to the peace song, but I'll invite you to just absorb those words and certainly take this introduction to the work that Michelle has shared with us, and really let the truth of those words resonate within you. As we depart the sanctuary, if you want to stick around for a while, if you want to visit the lobby, we invite you, those of you who are here, to go through this door